Okay.
Do you believe it is the government's role to provide health care for most, if not all, of its citizens? And do you believe it's the government's role to set rules and regulations on the kinds of health care people can have, or should health care be a more free market system?
Well, we don't have a free market system for health care. We haven't for a long time. We tried that. That's why we have Medicare, is because the free market wouldn't insure old people. Old people were poorer and sicker, and they couldn't get affordable private insurance. And it was a disaster. That's why government stepped in, and it's one of our most popular programs right now. In fact, it was really funny. The Tea Party people, when we were talking about health care reform, had signs saying, "Keep government's hands off my Medicare." Excuse me, that's funny. This is a 50-year government program.
Yeah.
Go back and check your facts, people. But they accept it so much that they can't believe that it's government because they like it and it works.
Yeah.
There are also, we don't let people just die in the streets. We decided that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, there's some people that think that that's their fault, or let private charity. And if no private charity picks it up, tough. Well, that's Bangladesh. That's not how we've done it here. We have rules that if a person is injured and they don't have, maybe they're not poor, maybe they just don't have their identification on them, they can't be refused at an emergency room. And I don't know anybody that argues with that.
Yeah.
There's some people, the government doesn't have any role, but except we really love Medicare, and
it's almost done.
And no, if my daughter was in an accident and didn't have her insurance card or her driver's license, absolutely that emergency room should take her.
Yeah.
So is government going to be involved? It already is, and people want it to be involved. We have a system for our veterans that is all socialized medicine. Veterans, the doctors are hired by the government, the hospitals are run by the government, the nurses, it's all government, and this is for tens of thousands of veterans, millions of veterans. So they're already involved there. There's nobody who seriously, that I know, who thinks about it, who seriously thinks that government shouldn't be involved. Government is involved. The question is, how much? One of the things that's a little unpleasant for the people who are arguing against the reform is that all the countries that they say, we don't want to be like France, we don't want to be like Canada, we don't want to be like Britain, all of those countries have better health care systems than we have. Every one of them. We just talked about how people live longer, they get sick less often, they get well faster, and nobody in those countries goes bankrupt because of health care costs. We have some of the best health care in the world. If you know what you're doing and you've got money, you can get great health care in the United States. But we still have about 100,000 people a year who die from hospital infections and things that are preventable. From my vantage point, what we want is to make the system work better. We want to make sure that just because somebody's poor doesn't mean they can't get health care. We want to make sure that we give people the best deal. We can't keep paying twice as much as everybody else in the world. An interesting little fact is that if everybody practiced medicine like it's practiced here in metropolitan Portland, we wouldn't have a Medicare funding crisis. We spend less here, and we do better. So that's one of the things that I worked to get into the healthcare reform, was to reward the stuff we do here, so that we ultimately drive the costs down and improve the care. We don't have to spend twice as much as anybody else in the world, and what we do here in Oregon proves it.
Okay.